It's important to establish the genre of your novel before pitching or self-publishing. For starters, what is genre? Genre is a classification system that groups together works with similar aspects, such as character types, setting, or themes. Examples include fantasy, horror, and romance. But what if my brilliant idea includes elements of fantasy, horror, and romance? And what about subgenres like urban fantasy and Regency romance? I don't even know what I'm writing anymore. It's okay, we're going to break it down. Most books have elements from several genres. Think about where your book would be found in a bookstore. It can only sit on one shelf. And think about what you're looking for when you walk into a bookstore or you're browsing categories online. If you're specifically in the mystery section, you don't want to find a book with lots and lots of romance and only a minor crime that's solved pretty quickly. You might be okay with a little bit of a love story, but mostly you want dead bodies, clues, suspects, and alibis. On the other hand, if you're in the romance section, you might be taken aback if you pick up a book where the characters spend most of their time measuring bloodstains and very little time falling in love. But what if I have a story that has a mystery and a love story? That's fine, but you have to make the distinction between whether you're writing a mystery novel with some romantic elements or a romance novel with some mystery elements. What aspects of the story are carrying the plot? Who is your ideal audience? You may have two genres in your story that are equally important. For example, if you're writing a love story between a girl and a vampire, you are writing a paranormal romance. Both the paranormal aspects and the romantic aspects are equally important. To get a good idea of what genres merge in this way, take a look through the categories in a bookstore, whether online or brick and mortar. But what if my idea is a paranormal romance, horror, science fiction, adventure novel? You should have no more than two categories for your book. Yes, you may have elements of many different genres, but if each of them is an equally driving force in your plot, you may be a little muddled. If you pitch something like that to an agent, they're going to think you don't know what you're doing. And when you're self-publishing a novel, you're only allowed to select two genres for your book. Try to stay focused on only one or two categories. This isn't as limiting as it sounds. Your story can still have all of those elements. Genre is a marketing tool, and as such must rely on generalizations. Booksellers are looking for the group of people most likely to be interested in your book. This doesn't mean that someone who generally prefers mysteries won't like your fantasy novel. All it means is that the best place to put your fantasy novel is in the place where people who generally prefer fantasy novels are going to be. To make this a little more clear, let's break down the genre of a popular book. I vote for Harry Potter. This series has a lot of romantic elements. Harry, Ginny, Ron, Hermione, Remus, Nymphadora, there's a lot of shipping going on. But would we categorize this as a romance? Yes. You're not helping. No. If we put this book in the romance novel section of a bookstore, anyone picking it up will be confused and disappointed. There is not nearly enough romantic tension to classify this as a romance novel. There are also elements of mystery. What is in the package that Hagrid picked up from Gringotts? Who is trying to steal it? But is this a mystery novel? Yes. You are not very good at this. No. Someone specifically in the mood for a mystery would be disappointed by how quickly the puzzles are solved, how little attention is spent on gathering clues, and how many other things are going on. The main focus of the book is not the mysteries. There are also sequences of action and moments of suspense, but it's pretty clear this book falls under fantasy. With the introduction into the wizarding world, magical items and spells, and creatures like hippogriffs and elves, this book is actually pretty easy to categorize. You could take out the love story, the mystery, and the moments of suspense, and things would be missing, but we would still have a plot. If we took out the magic, Harry Potter wouldn't be anybody special, and we would have no story. So that's it then. The genre element your story absolutely couldn't do without represents what genre it is. Pretty much. Think about what you're trying to do with your story. Are you introducing new strange societies and magic systems? It's probably a fantasy. Show how technology might influence the world? Science fiction. Terrifying your audience in any way possible? Horror. Solve a crime? Mystery. Go on an epic journey and blow up lots of cars? Action adventure. Have two people fall desperately in love? Romance. There are plenty of other genres out there. Browse bookstores and see how things are put on the shelf. Figure out which of these books your story fits in with. Genre is more of an art than a precise science. Your best bet is to go with your gut. What do you think is the main genre? Go with that. An agent may end up having a different idea and may give you a different genre. However, they will still appreciate that you took the effort to classify your own book. So, what genre are you writing? Are you still having difficulty pinpointing? Let us know as a comment or email us at katesnovelidea@gmail.com and we will do our best to answer your questions. We always love hearing from you. Today's rather brilliant novel idea is to take a character and describe them as if they were a character in a romance novel, and then take the same character and describe them as if they were a character in a fantasy novel, and then take the same character and describe them as if they were a character in a horror novel. How might you describe their traits differently? What feeling are you trying to create? Thanks for watching, and happy writing!